Moving on to operators with strings. Previously, we've used arithmetic and comparison operators with integers and floats, such as 5 times 3 or 5 plus 3, or comparing two numbers like 5 is greater than 3. Now, believe it or not, these operators, or some of them, work with strings. So we're going to see how they work with strings in this section. All right, we'll begin with the comparison operators. All of these are valid. So we'll do a very simple comparison. We'll create a string A and a string B. So just a single character string, just the letter A, versus B. We'll compare them. So is A greater than B? Well, this is false. So you'll always get a Boolean using one of the comparison operators. The way Python does comparisons is with Unicode code point, which we just talked about. So with this ORD function, so ORD returns the Unicode code point. So for A, it's 97. For B, it's 98. In essence, this is just comparing 97 and 98. Is 97 greater than 98? Well, that's false. So strings can also be used that are more than one character. So we can say, is ant greater than bar? And again, it goes one by one. And here, since 97 is less than 98, then I'll just do one comparison and stop. So this is still false. If I say, is cat greater than bar? Well, that is true. Now, if there are the same letters up to a certain point, well, you can always compare them. So here the T is greater than the N. That's when the first divergence happens. You can compare equality. Are they the exact same string? Well, that is false. Basically, for comparison, the Unicode code point is used. And let's see here. So let's go back to this. Is ant greater than bat? That is false. And if we do it again the other way, let's do, is bat greater than ant? That is true. Now I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to do bat with a capital B. Is bat with a capital B greater than ant? Well, that is false, because if we look at the Unicode code point for uppercase B, it's actually less than lowercase vowels or lowercase letters. So lowercase or uppercase evaluates lower than lowercase. So that might be a little counterintuitive, but that's just how the Unicode code point works. So you have to be careful about comparing uppercase and lowercase letters. All right, so that's the string comparisons. All of these will work. Now, you can use the addition operator. Let's say we have two strings like Mac and Hein. So you can actually add strings together. So this is pretty interesting. Like, okay, you can actually add these together. Well, all it does is it concatenates them, which just means smashes them together into one string. So this makes machine, right? So you put Mac and Hein together and you get machine. You can add any number of strings together. You can have just some other group of letters, some other string, S1 plus S2 plus S3, and we get this string right here. So the addition operator does in fact work with strings. That's pretty cool. Now what happens if you subtract strings, S1 minus S2? Well, you get an error. So it says unsupported operand types for the subtraction. So you cannot do string and string. That's what it's saying. It just does not work. Right? So subtraction is not possible with strings. It doesn't make any sense. Interestingly enough, you can multiply a string. So let's take S1. Let's just look at its value is Mac. Now you can't multiply it by another string. So if I try to multiply two strings, this will not work. It says can't multiply sequence by non-integer. So that's a clue. So the integer here, if we do, you can multiply strings by an integer and it will just concatenate to itself that many times. That's pretty wild. So Mac times 5 just gives you Mac smashed together 5 times. All right, so it's just a little section to show you that some of the arithmetic operators work and all of the comparison operators work for strings.